Welcome to the battlefield. Welcome to the war.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I didn't grow up around kids like that, but I got you. Let me play this video.
James entered the subway with everything needed to execute his planned attack. They say he set off 2 smoke canisters.
Do you know what black people are saying about this right now? This is why I think they should send us back. They're not shrewd enough to do it. Remember, the initial report said the person was 5'5", right?
Yeah.
Initial report, because remember, during all this smoke, during all the chaos, remember that people were just being run out of the station. It was smoke. He threw smoke bombs on the train, and it was just chaos. Nobody could see. They interviewed some people, and they thought the guy who did it was 5'5". He turned out to be 6'2".
Yeah,
Black people are now saying that it's a hoax because something sounds fishy. Because they first said he was 5'5". Now he's saying he's 6'2". Something sounds fishy.
It does sound suspicious.
I'm guilty of saying that. I was saying that.
Hold on,
I was saying it was a hoax.
Here's my thing, though. Here's the thing. You do know how investigation works, right? You get initial information, and then you get more information as you goes on. The police, if they couldn't get new information and adjust. Oh yeah, y'all some people. I'm gliders. If you're a glider and you understand what I'm saying, things happen, and then
it's like instant replay in the NBA, right?
Exactly. But Sunmen, as you can see, there's 2 Sunmen here. And I thank y'all for y'all. These are Sun gliders too. These aren't even whole Sunmen, and just that little smidge of the sunness makes them like that. It just is what it is. Send us back, but you're not, and that's gonna cost y'all.
He set off 2 smoke canisters, then fired some 33 times, wounding 10 people before his gun jammed. 18-year-old college student Aroldo Gonzalez was shot in the leg and is recovering in the hospital.
We're here.
From the Nebraska Department of Transportation March traffic fatality toll. In March of 2021, 11 people died in crashes. And if we compare to previous years, in January through March of 2022, there have been a total of 70 deaths. For the start of the COVID pandemic in 2019, there were 44 traffic fatalities between January and March.
Jesus Christ.
29 people died in Nebraska traffic crashes last month, nearly 3 times as many as March of 2021.
Where there was another fight. And overnight, there were even bigger problems. 2 men shot outside of the Royale nightclub early Sunday morning, and early this morning, 2 women stabbed in the theater district. Boston police making several arrests in these cases and vowing to increase patrols in the downtown areas. Business owners hoping it makes a difference.
Anytime there's an uptick in crime in the area, we'll Boston Police will respond with resources.
Dominicans are definitely some people.
They just some people that speak Spanish, and they think they ain't nothing but a nigga that speaks Spanish.
That's Sunbritos. That's what I call them. I call Dominicans are Sunbritos. So yeah, man. Let me see. This is just sad, man. I really want to get into another case too that I had on docket today, because there's so much going on, man. I mean, it's crazy out here, man.
You gotta send the murderers. You gotta send them all to jail or make them do forced labor. They did
you gotta sterilize their ass so they can't make no more. That's what the fuck you gotta do.
Yeah, but no, I'm serious. You gotta make them in the slave labor. Hard labor. They do like murder. They do like murder or something like that. You have to do what you gotta do. That's how every society. Hang
on, man.
Guys,
no, if you commit murder, like unjustice murder, you kill like a 6-year-old girl and shit. Go to Chicago. You should not be having no rights to be walking down the street. Get out of here, bro.
Who the fuck is this right now, man? We troll that dude.
No, I'm telling the truth. You've been in Chicago. See 8-year-old kids get shot for no reason. while
That's
playing
not
around.
just Chicago,
You should be
bro.
excommunicated. Thrown out,
Exactly.
you know,
That's what
I've
I'm
been to
saying.
Iraq, bro.
excommunication.
Bro, I've
Yeah.
been to
Iraq.
Iraq, bro. I mean,
That's a whole different situation. We're talking about in
Nah,
America.
you're not hearing what he's saying. The reason why he said Iraq is because he's saying if they're acting up, which is how it used to be in the 90s, if you committed a major felony, you could have a choice of going to prison or going to the military. Is that what you're getting at, sir?
well, yeah, we definitely need more choices. You know, we in the black community, we don't look at the military as a viable option for the most part. My mother tried to talk me out of it, my father, everyone else, but I mean, yeah, it's a decent way to get out of the fucking streets.
And all this shit. Watch this tape, y'all.
I just see you snatch him up off the. What is y'all doing? What is y'all doing?
Guess what I'm doing.
Hey, he like a baby to me. Why you?
Guess what I'm doing.
I don't know what you doing. I just see you snatch him up off the. So what? So what's going on then?
He's stealing stuff. If he breaks into your house to steal something,
Nah, man.
Pause.
Bag of chips. So y'all treat me like a whole cold-blooded fucking killer?
you don't know who
What the fuck did I do? I know what I just came up and see. I know the fuck.
Look at what black.
That's in Philly, Baltimore.
Hang on.
This
Where
circus.
were all these people? Where were all these people when this child was stealing?
Nowhere. But this
Do
is
you
the
know
thing.
how many? Do you know how many kids I paid for their food at 7-Eleven or some shit? You know, when they didn't have enough.
But I'm gonna take it a step deeper because I was a kleptomaniac as a child.
I was too.
And I mean, I'm talking about like I was bad. I wish some of my buddies would come on the show. I was just a bad thief. I was terrible with that shit. I was still even with my mom there. Can y'all,
You ever go backpack shopping out in the store?
If we can hear it, you can hear it. I mean, if you can hear it, we can hear it. No, I mean, I just stole out of every store I went to. Like, it's not like every store I went to, I stole something. Whether it was a clothing store, whether it was a fucking any store, I would steal something. It was with my mom, my stepdad, grandmother, every store I stole something. And when I was 15 one time, and they took me home to my mom. So it's like they take you when you're young like that, they're gonna take you to your mom. For them to act like this is some crazy, like I'm gonna show you some of the comments on Twitter, and you could just imagine what the liberals are doing. They're like making it seem like this was a racial incident, and the cops tried to treat him like he was a terrorist and shit like this. Sisters can talk that racist thing. Sister can say anything. This woman they can't even talk about it. They can't say who's doing this. That's not privilege. When you can't say who's doing it, and you can only come out and talk about it after it's gotten almost to the point where it's unbearable. You're not privileged.
One of my daughter's friends, who's a freshman, was walking down the hallway and another student just punched him, broke his nose, sent him to the hospital.
Scott says the fights are then posted to social media. She showed us an Instagram page dedicated to displaying them.
One kid's yelling at another kid. So they're arguing back and forth. I'm shaking just watching those two videos. Something has to change.
That was the sentiment at Waldo Middle School, where nearly all licensed staff signed this letter to the superintendent, asking for more counselors, behavioral specialists, and school security officers, as well as consequences for students who misbehave.
I think our response is first to acknowledge where our staff are coming from, and then to ask how we can help.
That's Ethan Udosinata, Salem Kaiser's assistant superintendent. He says while they're seeing more physical and aggressive behavior this year, in prior years, behavioral issues seemed to spike at certain times. For instance, before winter break or spring break. That was the case this year as well.
We, in partnership with our Teachers Association, went and did some visits at Waldo so that we can assess together what the climate was like in the school.
Udosinata says at schools like Waldo, where there seem to be more disruptive behaviors, the district increases security presence, not through the use of school resource officers, but through school security specialists who walk the halls unarmed.
We had maybe 2 or 3 or maybe even 5 school security specialists that we can spread out throughout the school, which really does increase the security presence more than a singular SRO or school resource officer being present on campus.
And Udosinata also says there are consequences for kids who misbehave. There have been roughly 5,000 suspensions in the district. That's a number that's down from previous years, despite the heightened level of behavior.
We're putting a lot of other strategies in place that I think deserve credit for the reduction of suspensions.
And if you're the one that stole, they put you into custody. In this case, he was an 8-year-old. They're taking him home to his mother. And then you got black men in the community coming up doing it. This is some whole shit this black dude doing right here. This is some whole shit what he's doing. This is why these kids are so fucking worthless, man, because listen to this man, instead of this man saying, you know, just minding his fucking business or telling the young boy, man, you gotta you gotta, you know, don't steal, you know, this is what happens when you steal, man. It's just a lesson. They're gonna take you home to your mother, but try not, you know, don't steal again, or yada yada yada. That's something that a lot of these teachers do get. They get more money for going into these more challenging districts. These more needy districts, dreading to go to work every day, dreading, being fearful of 14 and 15-year-olds, getting concussions, getting told that you'll be a student will hit you and they don't care if your baby dies. The extra $10,000 a year isn't worth that.
Meantime, Taylor Woosley will pay for her decision to leave.
Where I took an $11,000 pay cut.
Woosley is willing to sacrifice that money, but she's worried about the students.
I'm terrified of what this whole next generation is going to look like if we continue down this road as educators.
A generation ahead.
So love me now, so love me, so love me now.